Listen, there's something people always assume they understand, but when a real crisis hits, from a large-scale blackout to a system breakdown to the collapse of social order, the thing that destroys them isn't lack of food, lack of water, or lack of skills. The fastest killer is faulty thinking. Tiny mistakes in the way you react, evaluate danger, and make decisions in the first 30 minutes can turn a difficult situation into an irreversible disaster. And the funny thing is, everyone thinks they're calm and prepared, but the human brain is built to betray you under extreme stress. So if you've ever wondered why strong, capable, highly skilled people still fail miserably during a crisis, here's the reason. They don't recognize the 5 mental traps I'm about to explain. And once you know them, you instantly gain a survival advantage. The first strange one is overconfidence. You know that "I've got this no big deal" attitude. When faced with uncertainty, the brain automatically fills in the gaps with familiar conclusions, even when those conclusions are completely wrong. Maybe you think you're prepared for a blackout. Then the power goes out for 72 hours and you realize you only prepared to feel prepared. This tiny hint of arrogance, just a little, is enough to make you underestimate risks and overestimate your ability to handle them. In survival, confidence isn't the problem. Unchecked confidence is. Behavioral science calls this the Dunning-Kruger effect. The less people know, the more they believe they know enough. When crisis hits, this type of person doesn't check their generator, doesn't store enough water, doesn't test their filtration system, and never plans for the worst-case scenario. They believe in a stronger version of themselves than the one that actually exists. And when the domino effect starts, they react too slowly. A 10-minute delay in chaos sometimes equals 2 hours of danger. It's not because they're incompetent, it's because they mistakenly thought they were better than reality. Then there's a deeply human trap: silent panic. Not the screaming, running kind, but the internal chaos that makes you choose based on emotion instead of facts. When the body enters high-stress mode, adrenaline speeds up your heartbeat, narrows your vision, and cuts your analytical ability by 30–40%. Suddenly, you find yourself following crowds, clinging to solutions that sound right, or ignoring obvious warning signs because your brain is desperately trying to save energy. This is why so many people freeze in the first critical seconds of a disaster, a temporary shutdown. During large-scale blackouts, studies show people often wait hours before collecting water, even though urban water pressure drops within 20–40 minutes. They don't act because the body forces them into a delay loop. The fix isn't telling yourself to stay calm, it's having pre-made action steps before anything happens. A simple checklist removes the need for creativity during chaos, because in a crisis, creativity is a luxury. Correct reflexes are what save you. Another mental trap sounds silly, but is incredibly common: resisting reality. The brain hates sudden change, so when everything collapses, many people cling to their normal routines. They assume the power will come back soon, supplies will magically restock, or that people will behave the same way they did yesterday. They waste the critical early hours comforting themselves instead of acting. This is called normalcy bias. In behavioral biology, it's a psychological self-defense mechanism, but in survival, it's as dangerous as any external threat. People under normalcy bias don't believe supermarkets can be emptied in hours, don't believe ATMs shut down within minutes of a power outage, and especially don't believe social environments can change human behavior at a terrifying speed. They react too slowly, and that slow reaction creates a chain reaction of shortages: food, water, information, safety. When you fall one step behind in a crisis, it takes 3 steps to catch up. And not everyone has 3 steps to spare. There's also a destructive belief that gets people hurt the fastest, thinking someone else will come to the rescue. Modern society trains us to rely on support networks, services, medical systems, emergency teams, so our brain assumes every problem has a helper. But in systemic failure, those services collapse first. In a massive blackout, telecommunications get priority power, while emergency response gets overwhelmed in mere hours. In urban disaster studies, many victims didn't die because they lacked survival skills. They died because they didn't believe they needed to use them. They called, they waited, they expected. An expectation killed them. The truth is, in a crisis, you are the only rescue team within a few hundred meters. Self-reliance isn't panic, it's timely action. No waiting, no hoping, just doing what has to be done. Personal agency becomes the most valuable resource when everything around you falls apart. The final mental error is the one that destroys you from the inside, not understanding survival priorities. When the world gets chaotic, people tend to do whatever is easiest, not whatever is most important. No one enjoys thinking about water pressure, bacteria, body temperature regulation, boring stuff. But these boring factors decide how long you stay alive. Many people waste early minutes gathering miscellaneous items, candles, batteries, while clean water availability is dropping fast. Some tidy their house before securing warmth in cold weather. Others obsess over news updates instead of verifying information from reliable sources. In survival, sequence is everything. The human body can go weeks without food, but only a few dozen hours without water before cognitive decline, delirium, and dangerous decision spirals begin. The brutal truth is simple. In crisis, ignorance produces chaos. When you know the correct priority order, water, body temperature, safety, information, you eliminate 80% of risk just by acting in the right order. These 5 mental traps seem tiny, but they are silent hackers, attacking your brain at the worst possible moment. A crisis isn't just a shortage of resources problem, it's a battle against your own mind. A skilled person with flawed thinking will fall faster than an unskilled person with clear thinking. And the good news is, you can train your mind now, long before anything actually happens. The brain can be tricked, yes, but it can also be trained to react slower, clearer, sharper, and more scientifically when chaos hits.